Hello dear students, I am Debashri Sahu from DePaul School, Berhampur. We are studying in physics the first chapter, force, for class 10th students. Already in the first video we have learned about what is force, what are the different types of forces, contact force, non-contact forces, the various examples of contact forces, the various example of non-contact forces. We have also studied about what is the frictional force, tension force, reaction force, gravitational force, magnetic force, electrostatic force. So let us first do a quick recap of what all things we have studied. We have studied about force as a form of push or pull that brings about a change in the state of rest or uniform motion of a body, or it is changing or bringing some sort of deformation in the body. Also, we have studied about the various types of motions. We studied about the different ways in which when we apply force on a body, then it brings motion in the body. We have studied about translational motion and rotational motion in the previous video. I hope you all remember what we have studied in the previous video. While studying about translational motion, we studied that when a body is free to move and we are applying force on it, then it moves in a straight line, and this type of motion is known as a translational motion. Whereas for a fixed body, when we are applying force on it, then this brings about rotation of the body about a fixed point, which we call as the axis of rotation, in a circular path, and we call it as a rotational motion. We have studied the various examples of translational motion and rotational motion. If you remember, movement of a car is an example of translational motion, whereas movement of your let us say merry-go-round is an example of rotational motion. In this video, we are going to study about the turning forces. What are turning forces? As the name suggests, whenever we are applying a force, if it is producing a turning effect on it or it is rotating it about an axis, then we call it as a turning forces. So the rotational motion that we have already discussed in the previous video, with the force that we are applying to bring about that type of motion is known as your turning effect of force or moment of force or torque. Now, whenever in your day-to-day life you are seeing something rotating, then you all know that we need to apply some force on it. This force which you are applying on a body and that is bringing about a rotation about a fixed point of axis is known as torque or moment of force. Now, let us consider a body which is fixed at a point M. The pivot which you are seeing is known as the fixed point, and if we apply a force at the other end of the object, then the perpendicular distance from the pivot to the force is called as the momentum, and the force F is the point of action of force. Now if I draw a line along the line of force, then we'll call it the line of action of force. So we are having three important terms which we have to know when we want to know about torque. One is the point of action of force, the second one is the line of action of force, and the third one is the momentum. Now what is then torque? Torque is the measure of the capacity of a force to turn a body. If I am applying a force on a body which is fixed at a particular point, then this brings about a turning effect on it, and this is called as your torque. In other words, turning effect of a force acting on a body about an axis is called the torque about the axis. Now, it is a twist or turning force on an object, and how can we calculate it? By multiplying force and distance. You all know that torque is a vector quantity because it is having both direction and magnitude. Now magnitude depends upon the product of the magnitude of force and distance, and direction depends upon the axis of the rotation, or depends upon the line of action or the point of action of force. Now torque, as we all know, is represented by the Greek letter tau, and how will we calculate? It is calculated by the product of force into perpendicular distance of the line of force from the axis of rotation. So tau is equal to F into D. Now when I am using this formula to calculate the moment of force, then it is represented by capital M. So you can either write capital M or tau depending upon whether you are using the term torque over there or moment of force over there. So the moment of force, as you see in the diagram figure 1.3, if we are considering an object we are considering a rigid body, then the point of action of force over here F is A, and the line of action of force you all can see is your XY, and the OP is a line that is passing through the axis of rotation, and the direction is normal to the plane containing the perpendicular distance and the force. The maximum torque over here is transmitted when the force is applied at the furthest point. That means if I increase the distance MA, then the force applied, then the torque produced will be more. And if I am applying a greater force, then the torque will be more. So torque depends upon two important factors. One is the distance from the fixed point and also on the force applied. Let us consider this merry-go-round. If the boy applies the force on the end of the merry-go-round, then he will be able to rotate it very easily. But he applies force at the middle, then he has to apply more force to move the merry-go-round, because the distance R now decreases, and gradually as he grows closer to the axis of the axis of rotation, then he won't be able to move the merry-go-round. The reason behind this is that if we increase the distance from the axis of rotation, then the force required to move will be gradually less. So units of torque is important. Now what are the various units of torque? The unit of force or torque, moment of force, depends upon the unit of force and unit of distance. So it will be the product of unit of force and unit of distance. The CGS unit of torque is Dyne centimeter, whereas the SI unit of torque is Newton meter. If you remember, in case of your energy and work also we are using Newton meter, but in that case we are using the term joule, but here we are using Newton meter, not joule. So we can have the same units in many of the physical quantities. It depends upon the formula which you are using. Now coming to the relationship between the SI unit and the CGS unit of torque, 1 Newton meter is equal to 10 to the power of 5 Dyne into 10 to the power of 2 centimeter, which is equal to 10 to the power of 7 Dyne centimeter. The relationship between the SI unit of torque and gravitational unit in SI system will be 1 kgf meter is equal to 9.8 Newton meter. Coming to the factors affecting torque, as we have already discussed in that previous diagram, it depends upon the magnitude of the force applied and the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation to the line of action of force. That means if I am applying more force, then the turning effect will be more. If I am applying less force, then the turning effect will be less. For example, if I am applying more force on a handle of a door, then I can easily rotate it. If I apply less force, I can not be able to, or there will be less rotational effect or turning effect on it. Second one is distance. If I am applying force at the handle, that means at the end of the door, then it will be easier for me to open because the distance from the axis of rotation is more. Whereas if I come closer to the hinge, then it will be difficult for me to open the door. So to have more torque, the distance should be more or the force should be more. Also, in case of a spanner, when I want to open a nut, then I am going to use the same technique. If I apply force at the end, then the length will be more and hence the force required will be less. Whereas if I am applying the force at the middle or near the nut, then it will be difficult for me to open it because turning effect will be less in that case. So in our day-to-day life, we are using this technique in many of the cases, knowingly and unknowingly. Now whenever you are trying to open something, then try to relate it with the moment of force and the formula of torque. It will be easier for you to use it. Coming to clockwise and anti-clockwise movement. You all know that the moment of force can be either clockwise or anti-clockwise depending upon the direction in which the body is rotating. If the body is rotating in clockwise direction, then we call it as clockwise movement and it is taken as negative. If the force has a tendency to turn or rotate the body in anti-clockwise direction, then the force is called as anti-clockwise movement, and by convention anti-clockwise movement is taken as positive. So Let us consider the example in which we are taking two bodies and we are applying force on it with the help of a weight W. Now let us say at the point M we are suspending a weight W, and at the point N we are suspending a weight W prime in case of two bodies. O is the point of the axis of rotation. Now force W will produce a clockwise movement which is negative, whereas force W prime will produce an anti-clockwise movement which will be generally taken as positive. So clockwise and anti-clockwise movement are very important, and you need to understand that whenever you are using calculation, so depending upon, or whenever you are calculating moment of force, then it is very important for you to remember whether you are going to write it as positive or negative depending upon whether you are using clockwise movement or anti-clockwise movement. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please keep watching the next video to understand the applications of moment of force. Hello dear students, I am Debashri Sahu from DePaul